Gentlemen, here we are. Welcome, Mr. Casey and Mr. Coz. We are actually today joined by a special guest, even though he is not in the shop with us right now. Hello, Mr. Lucky Blanks.
The creeper.
The creeper on the couch is you fucking assholes.
What's going on?
We're gonna stick with Lucky.
Anyway, okay. So, he will interject, as he seems or he feels fit anyway.
Or he would creep his way into the conversation.
It sounds dirty. But, yes, I guess that will probably more or less will be what happens. But, okay. Anyway, here we are. Week 8. Week 8, boys. Still shocked we haven't been canceled, even though there was an attempt.
We've been flagged.
Let's talk about that real quick. We were flagged this past week for violating the community guidelines. I believe it was for the thumbnail that someone created.
It's a good thing they're not listening.
Yeah, thank fucking Christ. Are you kidding me? Jesus, if they were actually watch the video, we'd be done.
Yeah.
So
just because they're not subscribed, they might still watch the video.
There we are. Yes. It's what it is. But anyway, we learned, took a few lessons and everything out of that, and we'll continue to evolve as long as this platform that is YouTube will have us. However short that may be. But, alright, this week in particular, we're going to start off with getting into the immigration crisis that is happening on the southern border with the, Haitian refugees and everything. I've heard numbers that are, very varying, between, 14 and 30,000, I guess, refugees in this particular camp at Del Rio, Texas. That's first of all, let me say, a large gap in numbers, let's say. So, you got a 1x and then 2x number. I would actually prefer...
overall.
Yeah, I would prefer to have, an actual head count, but I guess they really can't do that and all this nonsense bullshit like that. But my question for you two is, okay, number one, let's just say it's 30,000 people. What do you think the proper way to deal with this particular situation is? I'll throw it to you first, Mr. Casey.
Well, I think we need to complete the fence or the wall. It'll make things a lot easier. I know that's not the only. People say that's not the only option, but walls have worked for millions and millions of years, and they will help out these days. The other thing I would do I would fund and give ICE and the Border Patrol the actual teeth they need to turn people back. I don't know what the rules and laws are along the border about getting people to go back the other way, but basically, in my personal opinion, and in federal law, it is illegal to cross the border without proper documentation.
Okay, yeah, it's probably true, and what do you got?
I think we should humanely give them food and patch them up, so to speak, and then send them on their way.
You're talking about medically?
Yeah, medically. Obviously, some of them have some injuries. There's no way they went that far.
Now, what do you mean by send them on their way?
Well, they're not. We got to deport them. We can't keep them. There's other people trying to get their visas and passports here legally. You can't just walk up to the border and say, I want in. That's not how it works.
Not
like you said,
okay, fair enough. next question is kind of interesting. You brought up the thing right there about them just like basically showing up and whether or not we should let them in. Granted, I'm kind of on the same page as you. We shouldn't let them in. However, they are claiming these political asylum deals and everything like that. So basically, what is your opinion on that? And is that a valid claim or?
I don't think it's a valid claim. I mean, rules are rules. You got to follow the rules. They're there for a reason. Otherwise, if you didn't follow the rules, people would just abuse them. Like we see, kind of.
Right. Yeah. And at the same point in time, I've heard varying numbers that something like 17,000 of these Haitian refugees that were in this camp were granted, I assume, political asylum status.
Based off of children and pregnancy.
Right. Yeah, and that's a fairly large percentage. And just going off percentage numbers, that's over 2/3, 66%. Right. Probably even closer to 70 when it's all tabulated and everything. But that is also going based off of the 30,000 number that I've heard.
I've never been a fan of turning down men just because they're men. They're people too, whether they're pregnant and female or have children or not. You know what I mean? Just because a man shows up at the border, he gets turned down, but yet a woman that's got pregnant because somebody fucked her can get this. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand where you're coming from that, but at the same point in time, I kind of believe that they're more likely to turn down a male prospective immigrant because that will take away a job from a U.S. citizen. Whether or not it actually works out like that, yeah.
First off, if he's going to take your job away...
Well, I'm going to cut in here. You guys are talking about the political asylum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as far as that goes, that only goes for giving them shelter. That doesn't give them citizenship, so they're not going to take their job.
That is true. It does not give them citizenship, but if they are allowed to get some sort of temporary visa or anything like that, that gives them the right to have a job.
That's beyond political asylum.
They did do that in South America, though. They got temporary visas, like a work permit.
Yeah.
Right, especially as you were saying earlier about, when they were constructing all the stadiums and everything in Brazil, which is why a lot of these motherfuckers have, Brazilian passports.
Right.
So.
But a lot of them don't have any paperwork whatsoever.
Fair enough. What do you have on that?
I think it negatively impacts the U.S. economy, just allowing migrants in.
But they're not here permanently.
Didn't we learn anything from the...
Not yet.
Not yet, but...
Did we not learn anything from Project Veritas, where when these people are getting visas, it's almost impossible to reject them from renewing their visas?
Are they getting visas, or are they just getting help?
It's way too early in the process to even know what is actually going on.
We can't go to visa at this point in time, but they are getting help, and they were let in the United States.
If they actually do get a job, then they're going to get a visa. That's mainly the way it works.
Right. Well, it would start out as a work visa.
Yeah, if you can prove that you have employment.
Right. That works with any kind of country, though, for the most part.
But
if you get a work visa, then you can apply for citizenship after a certain amount of time.
Or actually, in some countries, all you need to do is make an investment.
True.
Or incorporate yourself in said country.
Yeah. That impacts negatively the lower middle class economically.
The working class.
Right, because there's supply and demand. There's a large supply of low skill, low income workers, which drives the value down of American citizens that might do those jobs.
That's exactly what I was trying to iterate from the beginning.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, personally, my opinion is, yeah, they're in a terrible situation. I totally feel for them, you know. But, you know, at the same point in time, sorry. More or less like you were saying, you know, like you say, give them a hot meal, give them some water, send them back on their way, unfortunately.
We have Americans that are suffering, so it's...
If they're being granted political asylum, that's not how it works, though. I mean, once they're granted political asylum, there's a process they can go through, fill out certain forms and such, and be granted a work visa and legally become...
And that is exactly 100% correct, but, you know, at the same point in time...
And that's what our country was...
They have to go through said process before they even are granted a work visa.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're going to be at work before any one of them has a work visa.
But it's the same exact. It's the same exact process that they did in South America. They all showed up, got work visas.
Well, I would venture to say that, you know, the laws in South America are a little more lax than the laws.
No,
I disagree. I disagree with that.
I totally agree with Ken on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go on.
The laws, especially in Mexico, if you just show up at their border, they will turn you away immediately. But the problem is that they were being let through by some political process of them allowing people into the country to go directly to the United States. But if you are an illegal immigrant in Mexico, you will immediately be sent away.
Okay, but how is it a political process if you... Okay, let's just say you show up at, like, the Mexican border, right? You're like, I'm going to the U.S.
Right. You can do that.
How does the U.S. even allow that to be a thing in Mexico? That'd be my question.
They don't control Mexico.
Right.
Right, yes, they don't control,
no
but, you know, also at the same point in time, a lot of these people are camping or built a camp on the Mexican side of the border.
They allow it because they know they don't want to stay there.
Yeah, they're not permanent residents. They're trying to migrate.
I don't know. I mean, these are questions I obviously haven't. You know,
they also faced a lot of racism in South America, which is why a lot of them left to begin with. South Americans were very brutal on these people, on the Haitians.
What do you think that is?
Why do I think that is?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like with any kind of group.
It's just another group coming in and just
and you're
like,
different.
oh, we hate you.
Yeah, you're different than me.
They're the other. Their ideas, the way of life is different, and people don't trust the things they don't understand or agree with.
They fear the unknown. Right. Basically, what we're getting down to.
Okay, so let me move on here. Obviously, I think the main reason that people are trying to get out of Haiti at this point in time is because of that earthquake that happened a while back. Do we have a year on that? 2010. Okay, 10 years. 11 years. 11 years ago.
Well, they did that 11 years ago, but they didn't come to the U.S. at that point in time.
Right. Well, my question would be, why are they coming here now?
Because they're forced out of South America, racism and not being wanted there.
Okay, so basically what you're telling me is that you believe that they originally went to South America
for jobs and stuff.
For jobs and stuff, especially with like the Brazil thing, you know, with building the World Cup stadiums and everything, and you know, obviously probably a great money opportunity, I would assume. Temporarily, but now that all that shit has dried up,
to settle there just wasn't an option for them. And would you want to go back to Haiti?
No.
Okay.
It's 100% economic migration. They found jobs. They found a place in Brazil for a short period of time, and somewhere somebody told them that if they made the trip to the United States, they would have jobs and places to live. And there is probably people in this country that are leading them to believe that. And I'm not going to lie, their lives probably will be better here in the United States than they would either in Brazil or or Haitian, but that's not.
And where is Haitian, Ken?
What's that?
Where is Haitian?
You don't fucking know, do you?
Southeast of South America.
Right.
It's near Cuba, anyway.
Right.
It's Haiti. But
That's what I
Asia.
I like that name. That could be your island when you buy it.
Yeah, we'll call it Asia.
That's got to be my island.
It's
First of all, fuck you. You got a mountain. I got an island.
It borders the Dominican Republic.
It's called my island.
In the Caribbean. So just so you know, I'm not a complete fucking idiot. I know exactly where it's at. Haiti.
Okay, fair enough.
I just wanted to fuck with you. Asia.
Asia.
What would you call people from Haitian?
Haitians?
They
Haitians.
can't be, because if you're from Haiti, then you're Haitian.
Haitians?
What am I making up a new country or some
Asiatics.
shit? I just misspoke. That's all.
Alright.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Take a steak from the head.
Taking a stake in the face.
Take
You
a
can't
stake
even
in
do
the
that
face.
right. Now it's on you.
this is getting off the rails real quick. Alright. Let's bring it back down. Okay. Obviously, there are the numbers that I am hearing, anyway, whether these are accurate or not, there is about 8,600 of these Haitian refugees, waiting on the applications that they made for political asylum to be granted in order to come into the United States. My question would be this. If they are leaving based on an earthquake, how is that political asylum?
It's economic. It's not political.
Right, but is that not like a false claim on an application?
I mean, I'm pretty. Unless they can prove that somebody's hunting them in a different country because of their political beliefs, it's not political.
I 100% agree with that. Do you have anything on that to add?
I agree with Ken on that. 100% political, but you got to kind of have a little bit of emotional intelligence in this and put yourself in their shoes. If you're,
I mean, who doesn't want a better life?
right,
Honestly.
right, but you got to go through the process. That's just like I said at the beginning of
Should
this.
be how it is.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Like I said, I totally 100% agree with you too on that one. All right, so there was a story. Whether or not it is accurate or not, but apparently some gentleman from Haiti, his name was Jean. I assume it's Jean.
Jean?
If his name is Jean, sorry. But anyway, he basically came through the checkpoint down at Del Rio from this camp and everything, and he had his, I assume, pregnant wife with him, and possibly a 3-year-old daughter, and basically he got given a bus ticket.
For what?
I don't know, just to go somewhere else, apparently, somewhere further north. So, what are your opinions, realistically, on this particular practice? And whether or not, as soon as they, get into the country, whether or not you just don't hear anything about these people ever again? I know, it's a tough one, right?
I mean, I could see how. I don't know. This might be like a stretch, but if you wanted to hurt the country, if you wanted to hurt the United States of America, and you send giant surges of migrants to the country, to the border, and had us try to take care of people, that stresses our supply chain. That stresses our resources, and that hurts the country.
Do you think that could not also come back to jobs and economic stuff as well?
Absolutely.
Good point.
I'm looking at it from a different perspective. What is their background? Do we do background checks on these people?
Well, obviously, if you walk across a thing and they see a kid and they just hand you a bus ticket, I highly doubt any sort of background check got.
What exactly did you do in Haiti and South America? We never know.
Yeah, that's true. You never know. Man.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. But, okay. Going back to the impact on the economy and everything, let's just say that the numbers that I have heard are accurate, where there were 30,000 people in this camp, right? And 17,000 of them were, I don't necessarily want to say granted asylum, but 17,000 of them were allowed to proceed into the United States. What do you think that that will do to in particular, the job market, and on top of that, the job market of jobs that no one really wants to do?
The argument that those are jobs that nobody wants to do is the dumbest fucking argument I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. Because I will do any job that you pay me the correct amount for. And the fact that you have migrants coming across the border and they're willing to do the jobs for next to nothing is the reason why they're not paying me to do in a correct fashion to do those jobs.
Okay, so you're basically saying that if there wasn't, at this point, I classify them as illegal immigrants willing to do those jobs for pennies on the dollar.
They'll do any job for any amount.
That they would have to be paid, if it was a normal American citizen, they would have to be paid way more than they are being paid.
You're paying somebody just chump change, like just money out of your pocket, to do a job that you would have to pay somebody $15, $20 an hour to do.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
See, I disagree with both of you. We have the Great Resignation right now, where people are just giving up their jobs. Most Americans are not going to work on a fucking farm field.
They would if they were getting paid the right amount.
But they're not going to. It's kind of like outsourcing with corporations. They're going to go over to Indonesia, anything where it's a third world country, build their companies there and pay them pennies on the dollar, like Nike.
And that's why we should charge I can't not tax. It's taxing stuff that comes in. What is
import tax?
Like an import tax. That's why we should be charging an import tax or a tariff on goods and products that are coming into the country, so that the American companies either make it a loss. It should cost way more to transport a good 200 miles to the American border.
Right, but it doesn't.
Exactly, and it doesn't, and that's a problem, because basically we're just using low wage, basically very close to slave labor to create all the products. I agree with you. As long as you're agreeing that we should extremely tax any product coming in the United States to make it
not a reality.
Any kind of import.
Right, any import coming in the United States.
But we're not
kind of on the same scale as other countries tax our exports.
Right. But that's not happening right now.
That's
it's something that
our previous administration was trying to address and was addressing.
Right.
Trump.
But just because Orange Man bad, we have to get rid of all the things that we're helping the country. But also people, the corporate politicians. I don't want to call them Democrats, although many of them are corporate corruptible politicians. They want this cheap labor, cheap products that the corporations are paying them to support. And then bring it into the country so they can make a lot of money while the wages and money and jobs that normal Americans would do here in the country are making nothing.
Well, let's go back to the jobs here. Like I said, with the Great Resignation, there's still plenty of jobs. Like I've seen that people that are employed at the Burger King completely all quit one Burger King restaurant.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So there's plenty of jobs for Americans to do. I think they're just...
Right, but they don't want to do them. That's the problem.
Right.
Okay, and also on top of that, they don't necessarily want to do them because they think, at this point in time that they can make more money, off of unemployment.
Right.
And everything, and have more of those social, economical benefits from, whatever, like the state assistance, health insurance, and all that bullshit that you don't have to pay for if you're on.
We're all paying for it.
Right, we are because we're actually working. But I mean, you understand what I'm saying? They're
playing the system.
They're playing the system. Yeah, that's basically what it boils down
so,
to. But also at the
system.
same point in time, hear me out. They lost the federal part of the unemployment, so they're not making more money than they would have been making if they were working a regular job.
Right.
So, I think we will see a swing at some point in time shortly in that particular.
We've seen an influx in wages, though, at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, because, in order for businesses to stay, open and everything,
right.
They need employees.
Right. They're even giving, benefits, 401k. Remember, I think we talked about this.
Yeah, I think I heard about McDonald's even offer $1,000 or $1,500 signing bonus just to.
Royal Farms was offering $21 an hour.
Amazon was offering a sign-on bonus.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, man. I mean, it's
personally, I think
crazy.
all those things are good things, and then there's going to reach a point where they're often offering the right amount for people to come back to work and feel like they're making enough to live on, that people are going to start working again.
Right.
But at the same time, you have the refugees coming in, and if they're giving them the work visas and letting them come in, they're going to take a lot of those jobs before these people
some of them
think about going back to work.
Some,
and then what's
but I mean, realistically,
that makes the wages stagnate.
Yeah.
Realistically, at some point in time, it's going to balance out.
Or they're going to just keep importing workers.
Okay, so what are we just going to go steal 20,000 people from Mexico every fucking time?
We don't have to steal them. We don't have to steal them. They'll walk right up to the border themselves. They cross the river.
But are they willing to work? You know what I mean? And then not all of them.
Did you really just say that?
No, they're not all willing to work. Not every. That's very racist to say that every Mexican coming in the border is willing to work hard. I've met plenty of Mexicans that are lazy as fuck.
Anyway.
Just saying.
You were saying something about this one Haitian refugee that it went through, I believe, 11 different countries to get to this Del Rio camp.
Yep. Got turned down and then had to wherever the fuck he went.
So we honestly don't know where he is.
Right? No, there was.
Do we even know if he's a real person?
Yeah, there was a.
Do you know why he got turned down?
Probably because he didn't have kids.
Probably because the political asylum argument is bullshit. But anyway, personal opinion.
I believe that throughout history, throughout all of mankind, men, even when you go back to the Titanic, right? I'm not trying to go too far offline here.
Now we're talking about the actual Titanic situation, not the movie.
The actual Titanic situation.
Right. Okay.
So
I was going to slap the shit.
They would put women and children on these boats and let the men die, basically, on this fucking ship. Men create things. What the fuck do women and children do? No offense, but men create things because of women, and children are too small to create things. So if you don't have men, and I know it's kind of sexist biased.
Yeah, that's not really true. Women create things just the same.
Yeah, they create babies.
Yeah, no, they create.
Do they build things?
Yes, absolutely.
What?
Now, I mean, granted, you're talking about more or less like the early 1900s.
Right. Today you can build a business as a woman, yes.
No, see, they were held back then. It's not that they didn't do it.
Would they work?
Right. I mean, there was the whole suffrage movement and everything back then and whatnot. But, at some point in time, okay.
Would they work on an oil rig?
Absolutely.
I guarantee some women do.
Yeah, butchy women.
No, I know females that you wouldn't think would, that absolutely would.
Work on an oil rig.
Yep, absolutely.
And what's the percentage of that?
I have no idea.
It's probably very small still. But still, either way, small,
What I'm getting at is that
moving the closer to the goalpost, yards and yards at a time.
I'm just saying men are just as important as women, is what I'm getting at. You shouldn't be sexually biased to save women and children and leave men behind. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, interesting opinion. Probably controversial, but anyway.
Obviously, I don't think it's controversial.
Our culture's ingrained to leave men behind and let them die.
What did you say?
I don't think it's controversial. I think men and women are equal. I'm not saying they're the same or they have the same physical output or any of that stuff. There's obvious biological differences, but we all have value. We're all individuals.
Everybody has
All right,
value to some
and
degree.
yeah, I kind of agree with you, on this point. But at the same point in time, think about this. They are complaining about the whole I don't really know. I don't think it's like a Me Too thing, but the whole equal pay thing and everything. Okay, do equal pay, do equal job.
Right.
My
And
opinion.
then there's
Well, the
also statistics.
equal pay thing is a lie, and it's been disproven a long time ago.
The statistics on that equal pay thing.
But
don't-
it's
There's
still an issue
It
going on
doesn't-
today.
There's still
they
idiots
don't
out
put
there.
into account
Because
the
there's
whole
idiots out there that
pregnancy
believe
thing.
anything the news says from like fucking 2 decades ago.
Statistically, women take more time off of work than men do.
Yeah.
That's where
Well,
they're
yeah,
getting
I
their
mean,
numbers
typically,
from.
anytime a woman has a baby, they take like 3 months off work. So,
Right.
I mean,
Not
shit,
necessarily. A lot of jobs offer that, but not all women take that.
I mean, I guess possibly. I don't know.
But statistically, on average,
Yeah, statistically, yeah.
that's where they're getting their numbers. They don't go down that far. They just say, "Oh, women are getting less pay than men." Well, let's average it out then.
All right. So anyway, back to the economy, real quick. What? Let's. Okay. Here's a scenario. Let's just say let this scenario play out. Right. All right. So if that number is correct, that I have, research have been told, was 17,000 people that I guess they let in with political asylum and everything, and so on and so forth, right? With the rest of, I believe the number is like 11 plus other million illegal immigrants in here, in the United States of America at this very point in time. What does that do, and what long-standing impact does that realistically have on the economy? That's a tough one to swallow, right? Yeah, you just choked. What do you got?
I think there should be maybe like 20 years. Maybe like a 20-year thing where you can become a citizen. If you live in this country for 20 years, you're a law-abiding citizen who's worked and has had at least an equal...
So they can be illegal for 20 years.
I mean, it would be better if they just sent them out. There's already people here that have been here for
How would they
over
prove
20
that?
to...
Right. Well, I mean, the problem is, number one,
Right.
okay, look at this. You're an illegal immigrant, so guess what? You're taking a cash-paying job.
Right.
So
Understand.
you're not adding to
Right.
the national treasury, or, you're not paying taxes, basically. Right? So, I mean, obviously you're renting. Obviously that landlord, hopefully, is paying taxes, but hopefully.
It's
So on,
difficult.
so on and so forth. I mean, you can see how this can
whoever is paying you
spiral out of
cash-
control very quickly.
Whoever is paying you cash is paying tax on that money that they're paying you.
Right.
Whoever
Or they're
is
writing
paying
it off.
is breaking the law, and they should go to jail.
Or when I was doing granite countertops, there was, because I was working in Kennett Square, there's a ton of Spanish people there. And this dude would come in, I think I've told you this before. A guy would actually sell.
I think you told me this like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. He would sell little cards that said that they were valid to be American citizens. And he would do it, and my boss didn't care because he had Mexicans that worked for him.
Because he was getting kickback.
Yeah,
I told.
yeah.
That's exactly what I told you.
So,
the story. He's
it's-
getting kickback.
And he had all the Mexicans that worked for us. He owned the properties that they rented. So basically, he was getting free labor.
It's fucking triple dipping.
Yeah,
Is what it was.
yeah. But that's just capitalism
At its finest.
at its finest.
Yes, I believe those were my exact words when you told me that.
Capitalism at its finest.
But at the same point, I'm absolutely.
And I can't hate on the guy.
It's against the law, so it's not American capitalism.
Well, it's against the law for
it's
him to hire
corruption.
illegal,
It's
workers.
corruption.
It's
is what
against
it
the
is.
law if you get caught.
That's true.
Otherwise, then
a lot of things are against the law unless you get caught.
right.
How many laws do you break?
That's
in a
how
day?
people look
Even
at
going
it.
1 mile over the speed limit is breaking the law. So how many laws does everybody break a day?
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Unless you get caught.
As far as speeding, I believe that is more or less a social contract. Granted, yes, there can be punitive damages and everything, but
Now you're just digging too deep.
yeah, well, no, I'm making my opinion. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Okay, well, going off that, think about this. For the most part, at some point in time, all of our respective families, all of our suspective, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents, depending on who you are, at some point in time, we're immigrants. So my question that I would like to propose is,
Unless you're Indian.
Native American.
Which I am.
100%.
Native American.
Not 100%, but...
Native American.
No,
But
I'd call
anyway.
myself an Indian if I want to.
Well, I mean, if you got a little bit of the heritage, yeah, sure, fine. But, me and him we're going to call
Oh,
it
no,
Native
you're
American.
white as fuck.
Yeah, oh, shit, yeah.
Quit tapping the pen.
I'll tap whatever the fuck I want to tap.
White man, take my land.
Motherfucker, I told you this before. Why don't you own a casino?
Take it.
If I was a dick, I could just fucking register as a Native American and just get...
Anyway,
Right off.
at some point in time, a lot of our families were immigrants. So, guess what? The question I propose is this. If you, let me preface by saying, as long as you do everything by the process, granted the process is probably broken at this point in time.
It was
But
probably a lot easier back in...
I'm sure it was, and this is more or less what I'm getting to. But if you do the process properly, correctly, and legally, I got no problem with anyone being here.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Because you're going to be a law-abiding citizen.
It would be un-American to think otherwise, to feel otherwise.
I agree.
That's like us showing up to a different country and just say, let me in.
And
It's like me showing up to your house and just kicking your door in and walking through.
Yeah. Just showing up and you come home from work and I'm sitting on your couch.
This is my house.
There's nothing
now.
legal about
you
that.
Can stay, you
Nothing
can
legal
live in
at
your
all about
room.
that.
I'll just stay on the couch. Actually, you know what? Why don't you get off?
What's
Get
that?
out of the bedroom. You sleep on the couch.
What's that analogy you said earlier? You can look in the window all you want.
Yeah.
That's even illegal.
Well, yeah, that's true.
With the camera.
Well, I mean, honestly, dude, first of all, that sounds creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
But I mean, if that's your thing, whatever.
Creeper on the couch.
Sorry for those people in the upper out there.
Okay.
Anyway, yep. Yeah. Do you have any response to that?
There's a bunch of creepy guys around here. I
Already, like wearing green shirts right now.
I'm not that creepy, but I'm sure to somebody I'm pretty creepy.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So, going to that, I'm going to toss it over to you with this whole AOC thing. So, go on.
Basically, I just want to call out AOC as a fake. About a year or two ago, she was at the border pretending to cry about the migrants, and then she went to
Now, this was the caravan that came up from
right. This was during Trump era,
Nicaragua or wherever they actually came from.
right?
Right. Okay.
And then she called a illegal immigrant detention center. I'm sure that's not what it was called, but she called it. They're in concentration camps, and then Biden reopened them, and then she said they were fine then when Biden was running them, because she's a fraud, she's a fake, she's a con artist.
Wasn't that weren't those originally started under Obama?
They were originally started on Obama, and then she wasn't in politics then. She was just a bartender then. So
she was a bartender.
Yeah, she was a bartender. But let's not be mistaken. She had a silver spoon growing up. She went to a prominent college. She's not a complete idiot as she always acts. She used her college degree to become a bartender. And then somehow she tricked her way into getting into politics. I don't know how she got there, but
her chemistry degree, so she could be.
Yeah, let's be honest. It's quite amazing how she got into the position in the first place. But, anyways, all I really wanted to talk about was the $1 billion deal that the government was going to give up for the Iron Dome in Israel, and how she was very much publicly against it, speaking out about it as much as she could. Now, I don't want to get into the part where we're giving a foreign country $1 billion for their own security against the missiles and rockets, because I personally don't believe that we should be giving any country that type of money. And I would completely, maybe not for the same reasons, agree with her about the fact that we're giving money away. But her argument is that she believes Israel is some horrible country.
Israel is one of our most popular allies.
Right, but she and her so-called squad, they're
squad, like a bitch squad.
Well, like a bitch squad, maybe.
Suicide Squad.
Anyways, she was very public about being against this bill that was coming out, and she did not have the spine, the guts, the gall, whatever you want to call it,
the balls,
to vote no on it. She didn't even vote no on it. She voted president. She completely abstained on it, just showing you that she is more of an actor or a con artist than someone who actually believes in the things that she says.
Well, you just answered your own question on how she got into politics then.
Well, maybe I did.
Right, she was a bartender.
Right. Does anybody else know anything about her?
Well, I mean,
no.
Hold on, no. What are you trying to say? She just served a bunch of motherfuckers drinks, and they
then
were like,
smiled in their face. Now she put roofies in.
No, basically all I've known about her is what you just said, that she is a con artist and will do whatever it takes to gain her own political advantage. Right. And that's exactly what she did.
Manipulation.
Well, at the same point in time, did she realistically want to gain political... Did she even want to go into politics, from the point in time when she was, I guess, in some sort of college, to the point in time where she was a bartender and all this shit and everything? I mean, the fuck? Seriously. Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't even know what I want to do with the rest of it.
I'm sure I could do some research.
As short as it may be.
For the 5 years you got.
As short as it may be.
I'm sure I could do some research to find that out, but I don't think she's worth the 5 minutes that it would take to figure that out, other than the fact that we already know what she is and who she is.
Well, I mean,
well, no, you know her opinions. Now, let me go ahead and say this. I do totally agree that if she is opposing something, and then when the vote actually comes to the floor,
right,
you gotta stand by your principles. And if you're not standing by your principles, guess what? You're not really benefiting anyone in the public interest of America.
Plus, they have to investigate what she's trying to say too.
Do they? Do they have to investigate?
Well, they don't have to, obviously, but
I kind of don't think they do. I don't think that is granted, various news organizations probably will, dig into this a little more, but I don't think there's any sort of legal precedents or anything that can be brought upon her. That is what I'll say.
I agree with that.
I mean, the only thing that I do want to say is that if you really believe in something, if she really believed in that and she voted the way she did, then
What?
there's a
Present?
there's a whole lack of respect.
Well,
I mean, Jesus, it sounds like goddamn roll call at fucking grade school.
to me,
Honestly,
present raise the question of why did she change? I mean, if she really feels that way, why did she vote the other way? Did someone pay her? Did someone threaten her?
She didn't vote at all. She abstained.
But that's what I'm saying.
I do believe she had maybe she did believe in that, and somebody maybe one of the other politicians, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, maybe one of those other frauds came up to her and said, "You're going to vote this way, or we're going to find you. We're going to figure out a way to get you out of here." And that makes the fact that you would change your vote on that makes you a weak person, not
Definitely not a leader.
not somebody that I would respect.
Not an independent thinker.
And I wrote down this quote from Martin Luther King that I felt encumbers the way that I feel about it. He said that our lives begin to end the day that we become silent about the things that matter.
Wow. I'm gonna be honest. That is almost a moving statement.
I got hard.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I'm glad I made it.
Just a semi, though.
Just a semi.
MLK.
Well,
Martin Luther King.
Yep.
It's a great human being.
And obviously he makes Troy hard.
Down there, that doesn't happen the same.
Anyway, okay. Well,
We were gonna do a deep moment here.
He's
and
been
then-
waiting on that.
I don't know what else we can do there. We're gonna have to. No. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Strong
Shut the
statement.
fuck up.
That is a strong statement.
Shut the fuck up.
Get your pen.
Shut the fuck up.
Here. Point it at everybody.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Creeper on the couch. You got pointed at him too.
Creeper on the couch over there. I did, but you missed it. So, man, strong words right there from obviously Martin Luther King, reiterated by Mr. Casey.
Casey K.